mantra of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna together. So I will chant and then you please repeat with me. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma sarupine avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Saradam Devi Ramakrishna Jagat Guru Pada Padme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Murmur Namastri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Hari Om. Today's topic is the Ishta Devata. Before coming to that, I'd like to thank the Vedanta Study Circle Charlotte. They started their journey in 2017. That was first time I came over here, a small group of devotees. They started and then I told them to study the Vedanta. Vedanta is a whole inclusive. If you are interested, you can join in September North America Vedanta Conference that is going to be in the Alabama, Huntsville, in September 12, 13, 14. So all the North American Swamis will be there. The whole Vedanta, the dualist and non-dualist and all three schools will be discussing. Vedanta study, I didn't ask them to start a temple. I asked them to start the study circle. So that slowly they will know why we should practice religion. That is the first thing. And religion, it has few, the first is ritual. You have to have the ritual. When they were doing the arati, I was so happy, so perfectly they were doing the arati. All the 5 items they were showing, that's arati. That is called ritual. If you go to the temple, they are doing so many pujas. Then again, there's the morality. First ritual, then morality. So why morality? The priest will say, all the holy person, and they will say, don't tell lies, don't hurt others, help everyone, like that. So that is the second step of religion. First, we are going and doing rituals. Second, morality. And third, mythology. And that gives us the stories, the beautiful stories, by which we understand why we should do that. Sometimes historical, sometimes just they develop the story to impress the people in their mind. And then come philosophy. The ritual, morality, then mythology, then come philosophy that explains why so many different type of people. Some people, they love to come to shrine, to temple, and some people never ever like to do that. And why all this? Different type of people, the same family. Then they explain it in the philosophy. And after all that, when you are convinced, you take choose. In Hinduism, there are choices are there. So you choose an Ishta Devata and then develop your spiritual life, and that is called spirituality. The first step, ritual, morality, mythology, philosophy, then spirituality. These are the steps we have to travel. Now I was wonderfully that children, they were chanting the pranam mantras and others. The seniors must have taught them, and they are coming up with that. It's a game for them, play for them, as they do many other things, that is also. But in the subconscious mind, it will be there. And when they grow up, when they face the world, challenges, these teaching will help them. These teaching will help them. And we must say that the Sujata Vishwas, she has played so wonderfully. And not only that, I really liked her style when she is playing and she is explaining by singing also. If the microphone was close by, with beautiful sweet voice, and the way she was playing the violin, oh my God, so wonderful. Thank you very much for coming. When I was very young, at about 10, 12 years, I tried violin. And I born and grew up in Calcutta. The Calcutta buildings are so close by. So the next door we used to call Bodhi. So everyone Bodhi, Mashi, all of that. So, and she used to scold me, hey, stop that. I can't afford it. Because when you are starting the violin, it is so dangerous. Difficult type of tunes will come up. So the people who are hearing, for them it is difficult. So she used to tell, no, don't try violin, something else. So I didn't try anything else. But that is violin, and wonderfully she was playing. And this is the expression of power that the nature has given us. Some of you are scientists, some of you are doing so many things. I was asking one of our devotees, what do you do? The computer, so many wonderful ways they are developing. We are the constructor, we are the architect of computer. So Newton, the way they are, and they are doing so many wonderful things. Where was those powers? All within us. All the powers that was within us. Now if you go and ask his father whether he knew the computer, no. When we were young, there was no television, only radio. And when I used to wonder, who were there inside the radio singing and thinking me as a fool, they used to say, little people are there, they sing all the time sitting over there. And when the seniors used to take naps in the noontime, I tried to open the radio to see those small That was our days. And within few years, within 50 years, so much of change. And you cannot imagine so much of change. Where was those power? Within us. We are harnessing it slowly, manifesting it. And that is the reason Swami Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine. Each soul. It is not this soul, that soul. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divinity within. What is the goal of a human life? To manifest that divinity within. By, how will you manifest that? Controlling nature, external and internal. And when you are controlling the external nature, outside it is so warm, but inside it is so cozy, so wonderful. All of us, we are sitting over here, it is light and the cool, no problem for us. We have conquered the external nature. We are just sitting in the flight and then reaching within 24 hours to India. Of course, if it is not Indian Airlines though. No, I'm just joking. They are very good. Indian Airlines, really, really good. But the accident, and sometimes those who are going over there, they are afraid and what to do. But anyway, this is the way we go, and we think, oh my God, that so many things we can do. And obviously, we have the power to control our inner nature also. Controlling the external and the internal. External nature we can do. Through science, through technology, we are controlling the external nature. And now, maybe that's after a few days, we do not know, few years, we'll be going to moon to spend some days over there. So we had a 7 days vacation, we are going to moon to spend some time. It will be. And we are controlling the external nature. What about the internal nature? Why we suffer? Why so much of bipolar patients? Ask the doctors, so much of bipolar patients. They're suffering all the time. And the students, they are suffering. The middle-aged people suffering. Elderly people, they are suffering. After controlling the external nature, why then we are suffering? Because we never thought of controlling our internal nature. That's why Swamiji said, Swami Vivekananda, you have to control both external and internal nature. And how to control the internal nature? What are the nature? If you sit down and write down, and today, after returning back from here, you can try. What is your nature? Or what do you want actually? You want the people should appreciate when you are singing. You want that people should see and this. I want this, I want this. If you make a list, then you will understand this is my nature. I want this thing, I want this thing, I want this thing. And obviously, you will understand how to develop this. If you can control your internal nature, then you are the master of your own mind. No one can give you any pain anywhere. Bhagavan Buddha had a great control over his mind. And one day he went for begging, sannyasins naturally. And one gentleman, he started criticizing him. Hey, you're a young man, a good-looking man, why don't you go and work? And why you are doing like this? He was going on and using some bad languages too. Then when he completed, then Buddha said that, suppose you give me some gift and I don't accept those gifts. Where will go those gifts? That will remain to me. All these filthy words that you said about me, I am not accepting. It's all you. And then you can imagine how angry that man was. So I am not going to suffer because of your clapping or your laughing or your criticism. I am not going to be affected. How it is possible? You become your own master by controlling your own mind. And to control your own mind, you have to have someone whom you will give your own mind. And that is Ishtadevata. That's a beautiful that philosophy that developed in Hinduism. It is Ishtadevata means you have a choice. You go to this temple, so many gods and goddesses are there, and I'm happy that ultimately they are bringing Mother Kali also. Mother Kali is a very good mother, but we are afraid of Mother because she is doing like that. That Mother Kali is coming. You know, Mother Kali is Shakti Devi. Shakti means power. It is not physical power. Of course physical, but at the same time, it is intellectual and spiritual power. Mother is Shakti because she gives intellect. And it's a symbol, all those human aids that is hanging as a girdle on her. She didn't kill anyone. Can a mother kill anyone? No. And even a lady killing some people and keeping the heads as a count, how many people have killed, and we will say, do worship to her? Never. We are not that close. So who is she? She is the knowledge. She is the power also. That's why the hands that is hanging from her waist, those are the symbol of power. And Mother, Ma Kali, is that symbol. But anyway, some other day, when the Mother Kali comes, we may discuss in details. But what is the Ishta Devata? How many of you have taken initiation? Raise your hand, please. Okay. You know what is Ishta Devata. Others, they do not. Now, so many gods and goddesses are there in the Hindu temple, but they never fight. If you go to any church, they all worship Jesus, but varieties of Jesus, different Jesus. But I have understood, I will worship that Jesus. The Methodist, their church is different. The Catholic will never go to Methodist. And the Protestant will never go to Catholic. A Catholic church is becoming the very bad shape, but the Protestant will never give any donation for that church. But for the Hindus, I am a devotee of Rama, but when I am passing through Krishna temple, I give 1 rupee, no problem. I go and bow down and give you 1 rupee. And that's why Hindu temples are all surviving. Not that the Krishna Bhaktas are coming. Ram Bhakta, Shiva Bhakta, Kali Bhakta, they're all coming and giving. Somehow, if you put a stone and with red color under a tree, it will be good. If the Hindu people are passing through that, no problem. Within 1 year, temple will be there. And if you ask why you are giving, some God may be there, but God will give you. This is called unique Hinduism. White broadness. You go to the Hindu temple, and I really appreciate this American concept of Hindu temple. In India, you won't find Hindu temple. Balaji temple, Shiva temple, Ganesha temple, all individual. But here, that's because we stay together. Here we are all united. We have to. So all gods and goddesses are here. And we go and then we worship my God. Suppose I come and see the goddess Kali is there. I will surely love to see that. Because I love Kali. So my goddess, Kali is there. If I see Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's statue is there in the Hindu temple, I will be so happy. I will go and bow down to all gods and goddesses. But when I see Sri Ramakrishna, oh my God, it's just like that. In the family, when you go to see a child, he will go and see that the grandfather, grandmother, and these, that, so many, that he will go to everyone. The moment he sees his father is coming, Papa, and he will run to Papa. He will go to the Papa. That time he won't go to anyone. Great relation with my father. But I am not bad with others. Everyone is there. So that is called Ishta Devata, Ishta Bhakti. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave a wonderful example that when a young lady is married and comes to her in-laws' house, she is related with so many in different way. But her relation with her husband is special because I am in this family because of my husband. So that relation, Ishta Bhakti. When you go to the temple, my Ishta Bhakti is my God. But that doesn't mean that I am not liking other gods and goddesses. This uniqueness of Hinduism came from the Rig Veda. In the Rig Veda, after the realization, the Hinduism, there is no creator. Is there any creator? Ask Google. Google also won't give you any answer. So, Google also doesn't know. Who is the creator of Hinduism? There is no creator at all because it is a research. Different people in different times they researched, and what they researched, what is the eternity? The uniqueness. So they saw everything is changing, constantly changing. But someone is observing those changes. Some static thing is there. So we have to find out that particular which is constantly observed. And they wait out, examine the external thing No, everything is changing, including the sun. It is also changing. Ramchandra saw the same sun that we are seeing now. Krishna also saw the same sun, but still the sun is going to die someday. It is going to change. Obviously, which one is not going to change at all, never changed? And who was created out of its own? No one created it. So they wanted to find out that. And they went on researching. And after the research, they came out with the answer that is called Brahman. The Brahman is the answer. And what is that Brahman? All-pervading consciousness. Everything is nothing but the consciousness. And they say, Ekam Sat, Vipra, Bahudha Vadanti. From there they say, Sat. Sat means that never changes. A-S-A-T, Sat, means that never changes. Ekam, that is one. Sat. Vipra, the educated people, that means those rishis. Bahudha Vadanti, they call it by various names, different names. Why? Because they like it to call it that way. They will say Indra, Varuna, Agni, and so many gods are there, so they call it that way. This is the Hinduism. Whatever may be the gods and goddesses, all are connected with the Brahman. The Brahman, that all-pervasive consciousness. As because Hinduism developed so much of symbolism, now we are a little bit confused. There are no good teachers to tell us. And in the modern language we can say decoding. That is the problem. The South Indians, they go and break the coconuts before the temple. Before entering into the shrine, they will surely break a coconut. Why? Ask them, they do not know. One who is selling the coconut doesn't know. One who is purchasing and breaking doesn't know. The priest who is collecting that and chanting the mantra doesn't know. But why we are doing? Na, ye karna padega na. Purvajo ne kiya. My grandfather, they all did, so this is our tradition, you must break the coconut. Of course, coconut I like to eat. But now, this is the way they will be breaking. But if you go and ask philosophy, what is the philosophy? The water, this body and the shell, inside that is our Atman. So before entering into the temple, I break my body. The ego, I break at the door of the God. I enter there without my ego. I am humble. And what is the symbol? That water is the symbol of formlessness. Look at it, no form. We worship all gods and goddesses, varieties of forms, but we never worship those. We worship that water. If you go to any temple, you will find a pitcher full of water, and they will be covering it nicely. They worship that water only. And the Calcutta Durga Puja, excellent the statues they will make. Then afterwards, the images of the Durga, after 5 days they will throw into the Ganga. Why? Because they never worship that particular image. They worship that water only. Water is the symbol of no form, formlessness. Lord Vishnu is sleeping on water. Of course, his bed is a very wonderful bed. Nowadays, I find here and there in America, bed and water are beyond, something like that. Advertisement. What is that beyond? That's a good sleep. Good. So, whatever may be. But who is the bed of Vishnu? Snake. Snake. Now, can one sleep on snake? Why the Hindus have given Vishnu, the greatest Lord, snake to sleep on? Snake is the symbol of yoga. If you know this is beautiful Hinduism. Snake is the symbol of yoga. Now this Ratha Yatra is coming, everybody is preparing. And when the Ratha Yatra will come, we will drag the chariot. And in the Ratha Yatra, who is the God sitting inside the chariot? Jagannath. The wonderful God has no legs, having no hands, not even the eyelids. As because you worship Jagannath, it's okay. But if someone comes and says, oh my God, what a God. No leg, no hand, no even eyelids. What type of God is this? But the most efficient way of presenting the all-pervasiveness and all-powerfulness in God is that Jagannath. That's why the name is Jagannatha, the Lord of the universe. He is present everywhere. That's why he doesn't need the legs. The Jagannath is not having the legs because of that. Of course, we tell a story, very grave, very seriously we tell the story. Then the king came and then he was working on that. The king came and then he left. A story only. But what is that? Tad ejati, tannaijati, tad dure, tad antike, tad antarasya sarvasya, tadu sarvasyasya vayatata. That was there, that was here, that is inside, that is outside, that is everywhere, saturated. That is Jagannath. And that is the reason God doesn't need hands to work. The moment he is thinking, everything is done. All powerful. All present, everywhere he is present. That's why he doesn't need to. But he is observing. That's why no eyelid. Constantly observing. Shakshi. So this is Hinduism. So obviously, in Bhagavad Gita also it says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamo mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Anyone, anywhere, in any form, when they are worshipping, all they are coming to me. But you go to the Krishna Bhaktas, this is another problem of Ishta Bhakti. Now Ishta Bhakti is wonderful, it's good. And that gives you that naturally, I love one God, but at the same time I am respectful for all gods and goddesses. It gives the broadness, Catholicity. That is Hinduism. They never say, oh, it is your God? Good. Then they will go and worship that also. There's no problem for us. Whoever came to our country, the Hindus could say, come, no problem for us. And the fast that, I think, I'm just forgetting the name, he came, the Christian, and landed in Kerala, and he went to a Hindu king, and he said, I want to build a church for my God. The king said, no problem. He never said, hey, your God is my God, same or what? Otherwise, go away. He never said that. No problem. Hindu king gave Hindu land, Hindu money, Hindu people to construct a church. That is Hinduism. Because that Catholicity, they behave different way, that is a different story. But Hindus are always broad-minded. When these Ahmadiyas were tortured, and all over the world they got only one country where they got the asylum is India. And Ahmadiyas all came to India. And we said, no problem, come over here. The Zoroastrians, they also came to India. No problem, you can also come. Lastly, the Buddhists, Dalai Lama. When Dalai Lama came to India, India was so poor. Even then, no problem, come and stay with us. Why we could say like that? It is not a melting pot. It is a leading together. And that is the beauty of India, and that is Hinduism, that is Sanatana Dharma. Complete freedom to practice your own religion. But the fundamental mentality that makes it difficult, like Krishna is the only God and no other gods. And if you come to Krishna, you have to follow this. The list is this. You cannot eat this, you cannot wear this, you cannot go there, you cannot do this, you cannot read other books. My God, And that same Krishna, he is showing that I am all everywhere. Sarvata panipadam tat, sarvata okshishiromukam, sarvata srutiman loke, sarvamavritta tishtati. That is Krishna. Only with the flute. You like flute, it's okay. But Krishna is everything. All ears, all mouth, all eyes, and everything that you see is Krishna. In many talks I say that funny story that happened to me. I was visiting somebody's house. The young man, he invited me. Now he is the head of the family. But his father was a staunch Vaishnava. I never knew that. He never said that. And father never wanted me to go into that house because I worshipped Kali, I worshipped Ram Krishna. So he was not happy at all. How will you know? He never say. Nowadays I ask, is there any difficulty? Then I go. We are like this. If you like me, it's okay. If you don't like, no problem. But he invited, he and his mother, they planned and put that old man into a room. From the outside they closed the door. Then I went over there and sat and they went for preparing the tea and snacks. In the meantime, he is the father of that man, no? He knows. So he called the grandson and opened the door and came out. And he started dancing before me in that room. Krishna is the only God, Krishna is the only God. Hearing his voice, all the family members, they came running and they told, come back, come back. I understood what's the problem. I told, no, he is telling the truth. It's only God is Krishna. Is there any other God? Then he starts and you worship Krishna, and of course, without Krishna, whom to worship? Krishna is the God. But they said Ramakrishna, that is a different story, I will tell you afterwards. But tell me, which Krishna you worship? Krishna with the Radha, Krishna with the flute, or the Krishna who said, Sarvata panipadam tat, sarvata shishiro mukam. Which Krishna you worship? Perhaps Sanskrit was difficult for him. He said, no, I understood. You are a good man. Take tea. So, he sanctioned my tea. Why we do like this? Because ignorance. And never, ever, I should say, if you are a Hindu, don't be narrow-minded. Don't be afraid of anything. It is going like this. No one can destroy. A little rivers were coming, very powerful, very forceful. Tremendous power is there. And when they are coming and jumping into the ocean, then shall we, the ocean, become afraid? Why so many rivers are coming? I will lose my identity? Nothing. All river comes and ocean becomes more powerful. That is like this. The more you are expanded, the more powerful you are, and more no one can destroy you. Swami Vivekananda said, Hindus became weak when we discovered the word Javana. The Javana means foreigner. So they started, no, foreigner, we should not mix with them, Javana. The Swamiji said, why, who is Javana? Whoever comes, they are having some good thing. Learn from that, imbibe that. The Ishta Nishta, Ishta Bhakti, only one point that we have to keep in mind, my God is good to me. But at the same time, others are also having their own gods, there's no problem. So my Father is very good to me, but it doesn't matter the way that I have to criticize other fathers. No, they're also good. The Ishta Bhakti is the best way. Again, why they have developed Ishta Bhakti? In the Advaita Vedanta, there is no initiation, there is no God, there is no question of Ishta. But the Dvaita, they have that. Why? Because if you, sometimes some people they ask that I'm having so many gods and goddesses in my house, and I'm taking initiation from you. So can I worship other gods also? Why not? You can. Any Hindu shrine you go, you will find so many gods and goddesses. A few days back, I think last year, when I went somewhere, I think India or something, they gave me one black jet, the black stone ox, the bull, something like that. This is just black. I kept it on my table inside, a small little one. Then one lady came and she was offering pranam. Who is there offering pranam on my table? Why? The carrier of Shiva. That God is over here. And you see, he is also God. Now, everything that we think that is God, no problem. That has also, the bull has also become a God. So if you go to any Hindu temple, so many gods and goddesses. Any Hindu houses, so many gods and goddesses will be there. And the problem is they complain, we don't get time to clean those. Then when we will meditate? No. Once in a week you clean, but meditate on one God. Friends, I will conclude. This is the very important point of Ishtabhakti. Concentration. Why we suffer? Because we don't have concentration. Our mind is jumping all the time. And mind is scattered everywhere. Whenever I am trying to concentrate, my mind goes somewhere else. It never behaves that it is my mind, as if it is using me only. My mind is somebody else's mind. Nowadays, somebody is using that remote control and using all those. Somebody is sitting somewhere and remotely controlling my mind. I want to think about God, it start thinking about the market, and like this and that. Ishta Bhakti is necessary only to develop that concentration. Guru will say, this is your God, Ishta Devata. Ishta means one who gives you everything and doing all good to you. That's called Ishta. So Ishta Devata. The God is, this God is your Ishta Devata. Now Guru has said, you have to have the respect for the Guru. And that's why in Hinduism, they develop that respect for the Guru. Guru are many, but one who is giving you the spiritual instruction, he is called the best Guru. Why? Because he is taking you out of all sufferings. So we suffer because of our mind. And if we can control our mind, nothing can touch us. We are all the time happy. And that is the reason the Ishta Bhakti is necessary. And sometimes some people, they love Sri Ramachandra and then they will say, Rama is my Ishta. But at the same time, they love others also. They know my Rama is present in everywhere, everything. You must be knowing the famous name of Goswami Tulsidas Ji, right? Goswami Tulsidas Ji, who has written Ramacharit Manasa. He was an ardent devotee of Ramachandra. And he constantly used to sing the Ram Nam and Puja Lila. One day he invited all gods and goddesses. He himself is narrating. He invited all gods and goddesses and kept the seat reserved. This is for Vishnu, this is for this is for that. But look, there is no seat for Ramachandra. So Rama also came and he was searching for the seat. Then afterwards he came close to the Goswami and said, Goswami, where is my seat? Then in a beautiful way he said a question. Pujahu mahi ki rahu kaha? Oh Lord, you are asking me where I will sit. Pujahu mahi ki rahu kaha? Main puchat sakuchao. I am asking you, oh my Lord, I am asking you. Pujahu mahi ki rahu kaha? Main puchat sakuchao. Jahan na ho तुम देहु कहीं तुम ही बैठाओ. Tell me where you are not. I will allot the seat over there. This is Ishta Bhakti. My God everywhere. All the gods and goddesses that I see is nothing but my Lord, manifested in different forms, in different times, in different places. If you develop the Ishta Bhakti, you are a true Hindu. Thank you. Thank you.
Maharaj, questions?
If you have any question, you can. At time also.
We do have.
Don't hesitate. You can ask any question.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we're going to be passing the mic around.
I have one simple question. Is it like Ishta Devata can change? Like say when I born, that time one is
Take the microphone little away from the mouth.
like when I born.
Take the microphone little away from the mouth.
Is it good now?
No, little away from the mouth.
Is it
Yes.
Okay. So if when I born, maybe I have one Ishta Devata, but in between my life, if I want to worship a different Ishta Devata, is it allowed, or I should have only one Ishta Devata at all the life?
See, sometimes some people take initiation without understanding clearly. So they come with the request, can we change our mantra? When I was a very young man, very young person, so I was there, somebody came to visit our house and he told, hey, this is your Ishta Devata, this is your mantra. But now I don't like that and I never practiced that, can I change? We say, yes, you can. Because Ishta Devata means you will like it. You will love it. Ishta means loving. So now obviously, your child, we will like that. To us, many people, they come with a request that we like to take the Krishna mantra. We give Krishna mantra. Sometimes they ask for Shiva mantra. We give Shiva mantra. Because we believe Sarva Deva Devi Sarupaya. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is the embodiment of all gods and goddesses. Our system is, there is a list of mantras that has come down from Sri Ramakrishna, traditionally Vivekananda, and from there. That comes to our President Maharaj. And when he selects someone, some monk, to give the mantra, then he says, these are the mantras you are empowered to give to others. But mainly we try to give Sri Ramakrishna because no harm is there. Sri Ramakrishna is our father. So sometimes you forgot to remember the father. Father will wait. Oh no, he is busy. Someday he will call me. So that is but the other gods and goddesses, little maybe. Particularly when you are Kali, hey, what is it? Why you are not calling me? She'll be angry. So like that, you have to choose your own Ishta Devata, no problem. But once you choose with love, stick to that. Our mind always try to take us from this to that to that. That means you will never allow you to concentrate in one place. Now once I have taken this, I will dig over here. Let me get the water from this line only. That way you have to go. Thank you.
Namaskar, Swami. One follow-up question. Ishta Devata, we understand if we start observing or praying to the Ishta Devata, in our Hindu culture, there are different gods for different things. Ma Saraswati for education, Lakshmi for wealth, like that. So in those scenarios, and as you mentioned, Ishta Devata is nothing but manifestation in other forms. How do we not worship them and just stick to worshipping our Ishta Devata, or if we can worship them, how should we do that?
Good question. We always obviously you should worship them. Whether if you go to Ramakrishna Mission, every day we are doing Ganesha Puja, we are doing Ganga Puja, Shiva Puja, all gods and goddesses. Because the same God manifesting in different forms. And Hindus, they know if it is only once in a year, then 11 months they won't do anything. So every month they have given 1 or 2 pujas. So somehow or other, you have to remember God. So that is the way they try to drag the mind. You can do any worship, no problem. But Ishtadevata means when you are meditating, when you are sitting, you are taking His name and imagining His photo, His murti inside, that gives you slowly, slowly one consciousness. That is like the specialization. The doctors are specialized. They know many things in general. But he is specialized in this and that like this. So obviously, the specialization. You are doing Sri Ramakrishna. Ideology. What is the ideology of Sri Ramakrishna? Love and unselfishness. Those who are accepting Sri Ramakrishna, what they are accepting actually? Love and unselfishness. Unselfishness is God. Swami Vivekananda gave the definition of God. Unselfishness is God. 10 hands, 6 hands, 4 hands, that is only to make you interested, that much. But what is God? Unselfishness. And that unselfishness will manifest through love. We love, but only our kith and kin, our small group. We have unselfishness. We sacrifice for only some people. But when that breaks the boundary and embraces everyone, that is spirituality. What is the difference between Buddha and me? Buddha had that broadness. I am still trying to do that. This is the manifestation of that divinity. So, your question, yes, you have to stick to your Ishtadevata, but at the same time, all occasion, wherever gods come, you worship, but you see God in that way also. One of our Swamiji, who was my sannyasa guru, Swami Samat Swami Gambhiranandaji, he went to Amarnath. And after reaching inside the cave, many of you have gone to Amarnath, right? Then Amarnath, the cave, the Shiva is there. And when he went over there, he stood and body started trembling, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, like that he said. But he came back. So that night also, he was in that mood. Next morning, other Swamis, particularly Atmastanandaji was there, he was very close, and he said to the Swamiji, something has happened to you over there. Why you never said Shiva, you said Guru Maharaj, like that. Then what happened? Then he said, I never saw Shiva. I only saw Sri Ramakrishna standing like this. I wanted to see Shiva, but I saw Sri Ramakrishna. That is the thing. Whatever, that's called Ishtabhakti. You see, same God. The ones Hanumana was visiting Krishna, and he asked Rukmini to take the form of Sita, and he wanted to take the form of Rama. Rukmini know why? Hanuman knows we are same. In that time we were Rama Sita, this time this. He said, no, that is, he knows. But he loves to see Rama. So he took the form of Rama and he became very happy. This is his story. Any other question?
Yeah, we have a couple more questions.
Pranam Swamiji, you said that the control of mind, then you will have no worries. As a householder, in the samsara there are several worries. How to practice that so you can control your mind?
Controlling mind through Ishtadevata, as because we are actually discussing on Ishtadevata, it becomes very easy. You know that when we go to sleep, what happens? First you forget your body, isn't it? In the sleep, the first you forget your body. And when you forget your body, you go to your mind and the dream world. If you remember your body in your sleep, that means you are not sleeping. You are feeling the knee pain, you are feeling the back pain, that means you are not sleeping. But when you forget completely, then you go to your dream world. There you see so many things. Then a third position comes when even you don't see the dream, that means body is gone, mind also stopped. What remains? Atman. And that Atman is always the source of happiness. So when we come back from that stage, and we always say, oh, I had a wonderful dreamless sleep, and I'm fresh today. That means that is the source of happiness. Where there is no body, where there is no mind, that is the source of happiness. In sleep, we always do, but ignorantly, so we come back the same old person. In meditation now, we have to go applying the same method. First, I have to forget the body. I am sitting in a comfortable position. Then I am slowly forgetting the body. How? You have to dream consciously. My Ishtadevata is sitting within my heart, and I am worshipping the Ishtadevata by cleaning his holy feet, offering food, garlanding, and lighting the lamp, all those. You are dreaming, you are imagining, and you are forgetting your whole body. And then, lastly, you are marching with the Ishtadevata, and both of you are nothing but light. And the light all pervasive, everywhere. In that situation, if you can remain for 1 or 2 minutes, then slowly you come back, you get tremendous happiness. Because you forget your mind, you forget your body. The third stage is source of happiness. That is Atman. So Ishtadevata helps us in that way. But if your mind is jumping from Ganesh to Krishna, Krishna to Shiva, Shiva to Kali, then you won't be able to concentrate. Yeah. Well, the back.
Shamiji, for the non-dualist, who is the Ishtadevata?
But the non-dualists, no, non-dualists don't have any devata at all. Because they think, I am that Brahman. You know what happened? And that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna said, it's very difficult for them. What is it? Of course it is a path, valid path, but very, very difficult path. Majority of the people, they become hypocrite by that way. I am that Brahman, I am that God. How do they meditate? They constantly think that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am that consciousness. That means you have to have that purity of body and mind. Otherwise, you are driving the car, eating the hamburger, and saying, I am Brahman. That won't do. You are running for the office because if you are late, it will be difficult. So, and again you are telling, I am the Brahman, I am the Brahman. That won't help. Only those who have left the hearth and home have become the sannyasi, and that too, they don't live in the society in this way. Separately, 24 hours, they can practice it. And there is no God but Himself. So that is why it is like this. But the waiting they have God, and that is easy way. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, for the modern age, it is Naradiya Bhakti. Why? Because Naradiya Bhakti is the combination of jnana and devotion and also work. Jnana, bhakti, karma, samanvaya. Tad arpita akhila acharata. They give the definition. Tad arpita akhila acharata. Whatever you do, you submit it to God. Tad vishmarani paramo vyakulata iti. That is Naradiya Bhakti. How could I forget my God? Before eating, I am remembering, my God, you are inside, take this food. When I am visiting some place or seeing the sunset, God, look at it. Beautiful sunset. I am visiting this place. But every time you are remembering your God, you are with God. And that is Naradiya Bhakti. So we should practice Naradiya Bhakti because that is the easiest and simplest way, very pure way, suggested by Sri Ramakrishna for the modern age people. Advaita Vedanta we must hear, but the practice, this. Otherwise, okay.
Margie, we have one last question.
আমি বাংলায় বলতে ইংরেজিতে বলবো না আচ্ছা আমরা যখন না এখানে অনেক ফরেনার্স আছে সবাই বাংলা বোঝেন আপনারা
ওটা আমি বুঝিয়ে দেবো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
ওটা আমার আপনার ব্যাপার।
আচ্ছা স্বামীজি আপনি বলেছিলেন আপনার লেকচারে শুনেছি যে আমাদের ঘুমের মধ্যে 3টে স্টেজ আছে একটা হচ্ছে তার মধ্যে স্বপ্ন স্টেজটা ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট তো সেখানে আমরা যখন ইষ্ট দেবতাকে স্মরণ করে ঘুমোচ্ছি তারপরে যখন স্বপ্ন দেখছি সেটা কখনোই দেখিনি কোথায় সেখানে যাইনি শুনিনি কিন্তু সেটা স্বপ্নে দেখছি সেটা হয়তো রিলিজিয়াস হয়তো ধর্মেরই ব্যাপার তো সেটা কি করে দেখছি কেন দেখছি এবং কি করে দেখছি সেটা আমি আপনার কাছ থেকে অ্যানালিসিসটা জানতে চাই
Suppose we are dreaming, Ishta Devata, I read the book and I remember, I took the japa, and then I go to sleep. And in the sleep, I find some people or some places whom I never saw before. How it comes? That is the main question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, this is the question. You know why? Sometimes if you see someone, immediately you feel, I saw him somewhere, or I saw her somewhere. You feel attracted from the past life it comes. If you go to some place, there you always feel, well, this is the place I came. This may be like this may be like that. And you wonder that is true. You never visited, that is the first time you are visiting. But still you feel like it is all from the past life. You were there. A group of people, they were visiting South Indian temple somewhere, maybe Ramnath. Ma Sharada Muni Devi was also there. Then they were appreciating the temple architecture. Mother was passing through that. They were the foreigners. We called Sahib, so they saw it that way. Ma Sharada Muni Devi, hearing that, she said, these people constructed this temple in their past life. Now they have come over here to appreciate it. So if this is the past life, it always happened. The only one recorded thing that we find, that is the list of Lord Buddha has given. 500 times of his birth, if he could remember. Krishna also said, I remember all my births, but he didn't give any account of that. But Lord Buddha gave. And that is the story of Lord Buddha, Jataka Kahini. The Jataka story, if you read, Lord Buddha was born at one time as a bird, as a pigeon, as a lion, as an elephant, like that. So many birds. 500 times he was born, and the final last birth was Buddha. We are also taking birth like that again and again. And then it is always we are trying to go beyond the circle of birth and death. What we want, not Swarga, not heaven, but Mukti. If you notice, I'm going other thing. Your reply is the past life. So it comes when our mind is calm, then sometimes the past life that reflects over there, and we find things like that. But you know that our birth is also, it changes in different way because of the karma. But anyway, it is late, maybe some other day we'll discuss. It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yes, unfortunately, that's all the time we had for questions. Thank you all so much. Before we end this evening off, I'd like to invite Shekhar Naskar, the Vice President of the Vedanta Society of Charlotte, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Swamiji. Pranam, Swamiji. We are really pleased that Swamiji, all the way from Chicago, he came here and he regularly comes every year to guide us, to supervise us. And from 2017 onwards, all the time, he is not only is the head of Chicago Ramakrishna Mission, means Vedanta Society there, and also Ganges. He takes care of few other centers all over United States, and he visits over there in Russia, and Charlotte is one of the centers, and we are very much pleased that we are taking him, and also next year we will be coming along with Shadho Priyananda Ji Maharaj. So hope that time it will be a very big event we will be organizing with all of your cooperation. And also I would love to thank Hindu Center and Hemanji, Vivekji for giving us an opportunity to host our program over here. We meet monthly every last Sunday in one of the devotees' house, and we organize the special program like Janmatithi of Ma, Thakur and Swamiji, and also Kalpataru Utsav, and also any special event we organize. And also every Sunday evening we do have online satsang program. Fortunately, God praise, we got a lot of good devotees, disciples, and most of them are initiated from Swamiji here. And also one good thing that he agreed to initiate this time also, tomorrow morning it is there. And also I would say a little bit about the mission and vision. Definitely we are right now kind of movable group, Vedanta Center of Charlotte. But definitely in future we will be having the Vedanta Center over here, God bless. And also for a long time we are trying to have the Swami Vivekananda's statue over here. And definitely in cooperation of help of everyone we could do one day. And also because our organization is 501c, so we would be able to give some volunteer hours for the young volunteers to really see that many of the volunteers they are helping us. And also yes. So after that, I just say one small mantra, and then all the people will be lying together and will be taking the blessing of Swamiji. And please, you'll have the prasadam after that. And thank you again to all dignitaries here. So we'll just give a small mantra, and then we'll all will be coming by this way, and we'll be going that direction to get the prasadam.
Last 8 years I'm coming, and this year I'm feeling that there will be an ashram over here. That's my feeling, and if you come, and you have the website, right?
Yes.
So you can take their email and connect them, so they will get all your information, flyers, and you will see everything in the website also. So it should not be like a Hindu temple. Hindu temple is already there. So make a room like this, and there you can organize a different this type of philosophical things and cultural. You can invite other Swamis, and the Matajis are also there, so they can come and discuss different ways. It will be really good. If not a permanent something, you can hire a hall also and can organize that. So that will slowly give you. And as because almost, not almost, all of you are educated people, philosophy is necessary. Otherwise, you won't get the satisfaction. Only ritual won't give you the satisfaction. There will be some always question and doubt. The philosophy is necessary. With that, do the ritual, and that will give you the push-up in spiritual. Thank you, and I pray for you. All of you should be healthy and happy. And in this life, you should be happy yourself and make others also happy all around you. That will be my prayer. Thank you. And when you are coming to Chicago, visit Chicago. Awesome.
Yes, so just to reiterate,